Today's lesson is on how do we define congruent figures. Congruent figures have the same shape and the same size. Two-dimensional figures are congruent if the second figure can be obtained from the first by a sequence of rotations, reflections, and translations. Take a second to copy down those notes. So congruent figures have same shape and same size. So every single thing about congruent figures is going to be exactly the same. The only way to obtain congruent figures is with rotations, reflections, and translations. A dilation is not going to produce congruent figures. Model problem 1. A triangle with an area of 32 square inches is rotated and then reflected over the x-axis. What is the area of the resulting image? Take a second to copy down the question. So in this problem, we have two transformations that are happening. The image is rotated, and then the image is reflected. Since we have a rotation and then a reflection, the pre-image and the image are congruent. In congruent figures, everything is equal. So if the area of the pre-image equals the area of the image. So since the area of the pre-image is 32 inches, the area of the image is also 32 square inches. So congruent figures, everything is equal, so the areas would also be equal to each other. Model problem 2. Is ABC congruent to DEF? Explain. And is ABC congruent to GHI? Explain. Take a second to copy down the question and draw a quick sketch of the graph. So, in order for two images to be congruent, we have to be able to use a combination of translations, rotations, and reflections. So I'm going to answer this first one, ABC to DEF. So I have to see if I can get from ABC to image DEF. The first thing that I notice is that I have to have my image face the opposite direction. I can reflect my image along this line here, which is x equals 5. If I reflect that image, this point would stay. B is 1, 2, 3 from my line of reflection, so I could go 1, 2, 3. B prime would be here, and A is 1, 2, 3, 4, so I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be A. So this would be my new triangle. So I reflect it over the line, x equals 5. Now I see if I can move to get up to DEF. If I translate now, I could go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that works for point D. If I check this point, I could go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That works for E. And point C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That works for F. So ABC is congruent to DEF. And the explanation is the image is reflected over x equals 5, then translated up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's my explanation. Your explanation has to be the combination of transformation that moves you from one object to the other object. Now, is ABC congruent to GHI? So I'm going to look at my two images for that one. So I'm still starting with ABC, but I need to see if ABC is congruent to GHI. When you're doing these problems, you have to see how you can translate from one image to the other image. You also need to check to see if everything is exactly the same. The easiest thing to check is lengths that are on your horizontal or vertical line. My distance from B to C is 3 spaces. If I look at my distance from H to I notice that it is 4 spaces. So, no, they are not congruent. And your explanation is there is no transformations to map ABC to GHI. So you need to be able to find the transformations to map from one to the other.